Hello, Calvin Kim with Thunderbolt. This is Peter Molyneux's Godus, recently released as Steam Early Access. It's a crowdfunded project coming off of curiosity. So, there's a good precedent for Peter Molyneux making this type of game. I mean, he's kinda the father of the God game, made Populous. Hasn't been doing much lately, but I've always thought of him as one of the experiential designers, sort of like Miyamoto, going to his garden and learning about Pikmin. I always felt like Molyneux is sort of the same way. We have all this land we haven't gotten to yet. Right now we're just establishing a base. I feel like it's sort of the strategy player in me. I kind of like to have all my resources crowded into this one area and sort of harvest from there. So we're clicking on these bubbles to get faith from our followers, and we could click on the flags to get more of them. Feels like this would make a lot more sense on touch devices, the way we're kind of dragging in and out. Would sort of like to be able to do that with our finger just sliding on the screen. Don't say that very often, but this is one of the few that might really benefit from touch. So, occasionally we're getting these god cards. We could get larger houses for our people. And it's a spirituality card. Found their higher power. So these are sort of passive upgrades. Now we could double click on the right side of the mouse and move the land in or up. Looks like there's a lot more progression we could do. We're still in the primitive age here, but looks like we could go all the way up to space. I'd kind of like to see how that looks. Sort of like a civilization idea that we're building up this whole society and can have that kind of progress. It's worth saying that from the main menu it says it's only 40% done. There's a lot of work to be done here. We have all these layers of land, so we just have to sort of pull them out until we could build houses. And now we're expanding into bigger huts. It's a sufficient look. I don't think it looks great. We have to click on these resources to get more faith. Right now we're doing okay, but just kind of want to clear this area out also. So there hasn't been very much happening in the God game. I mean, it's one of those few genres that started so strong and then it didn't really go anywhere. I mean, you got like Molyneux stuff in from Bullfrog. All that stuff was great. But after that kind of fizzled out. I think the problem was just people weren't backing the projects, and now that we have Kickstarter, we could get games like this more often. Yeah, much like Curiosity, there's just a very satisfying feeling about clicking through all of this. There's that feeling that you just want to keep clicking. And I like this pattern of tones that comes off once you hit the bubble.
Yep.
I mean, it's too bad we haven't seen more games like this. It's one of those genres that has almost unlimited potential, but it's all bottled up until someone does anything with it. I guess the unique thing worth saying about this is that the guy who won the Curiosity thing, the guy who got to the bottom of the queue, he'll be a god in this game. At least for a few months. It was supposed to be like some kind of life-changing thing. You know how Molyneux overpromises? Then it will probably pass on to someone else. I mean, it's not like that's insignificant. He'll probably get like revenue from this. That's great. Who wouldn't want to be involved in a Molyneux project? I do like the layers on here. Satisfying pulling them out. We might as well get this part connected, keep the game moving on.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, 40% done, so we're looking at a very early version. I'm not going to be really critiquing the game on this. Never trust a whistler, I always say. Never up to any good. So, I mean, we've built quite a little community. But they're all just sitting on their ass over here. Not sure how to get them to move over. So we'll get commandments once we have, looks like game and a bit of rock. Generally, my favorite part of any kind of simulation is always this early build-up. Forming what your simulation's going to be, how it's going to be run. This seems like a good fit for where Molyneux's going. I think he's been inspired by iOS and Minecraft, all these recent things. Doesn't seem like he'll be making the traditional game anymore. I mean, who could blame him from getting out of that? Look what happened with Fable, The Journey, all that publisher control. I mean, a guy like Molyneux who has all these big ideas, you don't really want it limited. It's great to see people like that having these startups like 22 Cans where they could just do their big ideas on a scale that's more reasonable. Because, I mean, if he doesn't live up to his promises on this, what's the worst that could happen? I mean, it's a Kickstarter project. It's already been proven that there's a market for it, so that negates a little bit of the risk for him. That allows more creative freedom. Which is really what the industry needs. I need these guys to get over there. Yeah, get up. Come on. They seem pretty dumb, but people that follow the god, it's not like they're thinking for themselves or have free will necessarily. Okay, so we could affect their free will. Great. That's what I want to do. Not sure how to activate that card. See if it's under these how to play notes. Yeah, you could tell this is all early. I'm sure this will all be fleshed out in the final version. Doesn't really say anything about how to do totems. Alright, think we got it here. Looks like there's a shrine or something over there for them too.
Yeah. Yo. 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 Yep. 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 Yo. Yep.
Yep.
Yo. Yep.
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 Kind of obnoxious. I do hope the sound design comes along a little bit.
Yeah. Yo. Okay. Yo. Yep. Yep. Yo. Yo. Yep. Yo. Yep. Yo. Yep. Yo. Yeah. Okay.
Should get as many people as we can over here.
Okay. Yo. Yep. Yo. Yo.
I'm not really sure the guy that won Curiosity has any real influence over this right now. I can't really tell what that would be. Seems like a single player, it's a little bit too self-contained to really have any influence. Alright, making some progress now. Now we need them to do something. So I guess the most recent God game was probably From Dust. I'm surprised we haven't seen another one of those. Spent hours when it first came out just messing with the physics, trying to rush water into lava. It was a fun game. Always felt that the God game was a powerful genre. I mean, who wouldn't want to have these powers and be able to experience this? It's like the ultimate power fantasy, right? That's what a lot of video games seem to be about. So it's a very gamey genre. I do like the land sculpting. I feel like a little kid like playing with that clay or like Play-Doh or like something you could form. And there's like a tangible feeling to pulling it out. It would work so much better on touch though. If I could just tap on this and have this land expand to just where I need it to go, be much better than trying to drag it with this mouse cursor. It does have a kind of distinctive look, doesn't it? Not many games look look anything like this, really. Has a bit of personality. See if we can't build these guys some stairs to get up here. see if we can't get up to this temple and maybe call this video good. Yeah, I really don't feel like this is on that level of populace. I don't think it's going to bring any kind of like resurgence back to the God game, but just having Molyneux back to it is it's really good enough, isn't it? Better than making Fable the Journey 2 or whatever he'd be doing at Microsoft. I don't know, I feel like him leaving is one of those kind of things where like the early talent that kind of brought them in and made them who they are is like in the console space are all leaving now. Like Bungie's fled to Activision and they're not really cultivating from within. They're kind of like building up big teams. I don't really know what the future is there. I feel like the real potential and future would be in like cultivating teams like Bungie. Like they were just small indie developers when they picked them up, making a Doom like shooter for the Mac, and they kind of pulled what was happening on the Mac over to their console space. So it gave them like an edge in consoles while also taking away a big competition for the PC in the game space. Probably the smartest move they've ever done for video games. Other than bringing in Molyneux and kind of giving it new hope after what happened with Bullfrog. What a shame. And I did love all those early Bullfrog games just as much as everyone else, I think. And I still like listening to Molyneux and hearing his promises. I think we'd be a lot better off if everyone thought as big and at least dreamed that much. There's nothing wrong with ambition. It's better than succeeding fully at just making the same thing that's already out there, right? Probably later game I'd build another base up here. I'm kind of stretching out a little bit more than I'd like. As a strategy player, like I was saying, I like to have all my base in one place.
Okay.
Yep. Alright, come on. I mean, it looks like there's a lot here already for a 40% done game. You could probably spend hours exploring this territory up here and pushing in and out all this land. Look at all these layers, man. There's actually a lot to do right there. I mean, I guess you could probably even take them all down, couldn't you, and level this all out? I don't know how long that would take, but I mean, like, hypothetically, you probably could do that. This area is kinda interesting. Probably a few cards over here. Or maybe that's like an end game type area. Maybe that's the goal, to get over here. Mm-hmm. So we built up shelters around this, and okay, looks like our temple's almost done. Event, Mount to the Gods. I don't really know what that is. Okay, oh man, so I guess this is how we progress through stages. And now we're in chat, I guess. And I guess let's battle. I didn't really know how multiplayer works. But I'm kind of glad that we got this in this video. Show a little bit of both sides. I mean, it's still early, so I don't want to like, look at everything here. But might as well give a good look of what the game is. Looks like we gave ourselves a one guy advantage to start. Didn't mean to do that. So I guess just scoop out this land as quickly as possible and build forts. Tied up already. Yeah, this is kind of neat how it just jumps into this. And I don't know if it carries much over from the single player. Maybe we could just throw all of our forces in. Just overtake them right away. So yeah, I wonder how it will work in the final game, if it'll be like more natural, like you'll run into them during the single player game and like find their army there. And maybe the guy who's been elected god can have some influence over like multiplayer matches. Fill in this gully. Looks like we've jumped ahead quite a bit. As long as we keep getting people out. Yeah, we've already got a bunch of felt tents and regular ones. Looks like we're doing good. So I guess it has carried over our single player progress, because yeah, there's really no pathfinding or AI yet, but like I said earlier, it's a really early version, so I'm not gonna be too critical. I don't really know how I feel about that kid getting to be a god of a kickstarted game. Like, after something's funded, I don't really like these revelatory big features being announced that could mess with what the project is. I feel like that's something I would have wanted to know if I threw money at this game up front. And I mean, even now it's questionable, like, you're throwing $20 at this 40% finished game. Do you really want to do that when you don't know what it exactly is going to be? And with Molyneux's track record of delivering on promises. I mean, I have a lot of respect for the guy. I think he's one of the more interesting guys in the industry. Always one to watch. We're just gonna try and rush them, see what happens here. We're 60 to 20, so as long as all of our guys don't die trying to get up this rock pit, we should be alright. Bury this bastard. Yeah, so far I like the idea of the multiplayer pretty well. I'm not sure if they're still playing. It doesn't seem like they're producing units, but it might be more interesting if it were more of a contest here. Yep, yo. Alright. Yeah, I don't even know if they're playing. It doesn't look like they're producing anything. Oh. It would be pretty neat if you could get 3 or 4 people going. But maybe the pathfinding's a little bit too sloppy to do anything more than to trying to place totems at each of the bases. Be a bit of a mess, right? If there wasn't like one singular objective. Alright, looks like we've got most of their stuff and we've kind of taken over this spot. Wasn't too much of a... They didn't put up much of a fight.
Yep.
That's alright.
Yep.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of potential here. It seems very early. But that's expressed up front. It's not like that's going to be a surprise to anyone, eh? I mean, that's what Steam Early Access is going to be all about, is supporting these games that you believe in before they're final. Sort of another way to counter Kickstarter beyond Greenlight for Valve, isn't it? Alright, looks like that'll do it, that match. I'm glad we got to take a bit of a look at that, have both the single and multiplayer covered. Got some felt. New construction options. Alright, so this has been Calvin Kemp with Thunderbolt, and I feel like that's a pretty good look at Godus. Check it out now on Steam Early Access if what you saw interests you. Thanks for watching.